you know, being a part of it, I look back at it now and I had no idea that we would be here today. It literally seems like a movie sometimes, but it's our real life.
Tonight, a Fox 16 exclusive as a Little Rock woman and Jeffrey Epstein Accuser for the first time speaks publicly in her home state about what she says happened to her. Good evening and thanks for joining us for Fox 16 News. I'm Kevin Kelly.
I'm Donna Terrell. Laura Bloom McGee spoke at the Arkansas Crime Victims Awards ceremony in North Little Rock. In her first local television interview, hear what she says about her involvement with Epstein and why she says it took so long to come forward.
I met Jeffrey Epstein. I was basically brought to him and groomed by his girlfriend, Ghislaine.
Laura Bloom McGee, front and center nationally on the issues surrounding the Epstein case. Seen in these photos with other survivors during the Pam Bondi congressional hearing on Epstein. Survivors asked to raise their hands if they had not been able to meet with the Department of Justice. Laura's hand held high. She told me as a young woman she was living in New York and wanted to be a Victoria's Secret model. She was told Epstein knew the company's owner.
And then I finally met him. Upon the first meeting, it was just a regular meeting. He asked me a lot of questions about my life, my family, my dreams, aspirations.
Her initial excitement took a turn.
And then the second time that I met him, that is when the abuse started.
My name is Laura Bloom McGee. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, and this is my first time publicly speaking in Arkansas.
Today, as the invited guest at the Arkansas Recognition and Victims' Rights ceremony, she opened up about the abuse, saying it lasted many years.
A lot of people ask, why didn't I just leave? Because he had peephole cameras all through his home and recorded the abuse. And I was really afraid, mostly of my parents finding out. And I dealt with that shame, and I lived with that shame for many, many years.
When I was a child, I learned at a very early age that silence was a currency. It bought safety.
I was one of dozens of girls that.
But louder voices heard around the country made her give up that safety and join those who were talking.
Seeing my other survivor sisters back in September speaking at a press conference in Washington, D.C. and watching it, and I was wanting to talk before then, but that really empowered me, their courage of saying, you know what, it's time. I can no longer be silent.
Even if it meant ridicule.
Speaking publicly also made me a target for shame campaigns for people who wanted to discredit me rather than examine the structures that allowed harm in the first place.
Her hope at this point? The transparency that she and others have been asking for.
We want to see accountability. There's a lot of people's names that are in the files that have not been investigated.
And Laura Bloom McGee was part of the ceremony for National Crime Victims Awareness Week. Now, many of the unsung heroes who advocate for crime victims and their families in Arkansas were given awards for their good work. Their stories filled with sorrow and strength, helping victims of all ages and all different types of crimes. One of the recipients, Kathy Brown, from Women and Children First.
Together. No one person can do anything, but collaboration, passion, dedication, knowing that this is what you were called to do, that's pretty powerful stuff.
The Victims' Rights ceremony is held every year during National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and there will be a candlelight vigil planned for Thursday, 6:30 at the Pavilion in Burns Park.